What's up,
What is up?
music producers?
We're back.
Like we never left. Every single time. Saying
Oh,
the same
wait.
thing.
We didn't.
We didn't. We've been here. We just changed shirts and
Exactly.
didn't even shower. What?
Actually, that's a good one. We could just do 5 of these in a
Yeah,
a
you
day.
could just knock them out. Maybe this is one of the 5. Who knows?
No.
Hopefully you all are doing good.
Yes.
Those of y'all that are tuning in.
I'm doing good. Are you doing good,
I'm
Ryan?
doing great. I've been sleeping good. I'm not sick anymore.
Yay. Sleep is good.
I love my bed.
I'd say I need a new one.
Do you?
I hate
You need
my
like a little
bed.
memory foam? You like it soft? You like it hard?
No, I like sturdy, like hard,
Oh, okay.
but
I'm the soft type.
oh really? So you like the kind of
I like to just sink in my bed.
that hurts my back.
That's crazy how that works. Because if I sleep on a hard bed, my back it feels messed up.
Yeah.
But rest is key.
Yes, it is.
Make sure you get your rest. Get you a good bed. Hopefully Ray gets a new bed.
Let's hear for rest.
Yeah. Hopefully you all are doing good. I'm Rome. This is Ray.
Hey.
We produce music. We've been doing it for a while.
Yep.
Got some good credits to our names.
Yep.
Making money off of it.
And yep, we got tips and tricks for you guys. Hacks.
We're going to show you all how to make money off of it so you could potentially go full time or even use it as one of your streams of income.
Put you on some game.
Put you on some
Yeah.
shot clock. So before we jump in, we want to let you all know about our free gift to you called Industry Standard Productions right there on the screen if you're watching. forwardproducer.com/
ISP.
Thank you, Ray. Industry Standard Productions, 7 steps to get your game leveled up in the music production world.
It's been helping a lot of people.
Yep. This is key because this will help you level up so that you could create a valuable product so you could exchange value.
I wonder
Oh,
what we're going to talk about
how
today.
coincidental that it's all working together.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, go check it out. forwardproducer.com/ISP. Go check it out. But before we jump into the main talk, we have a couple things to cover. One being industry news.
Yes,
with
industry
Ray Dog.
news today is, we've been following the Ed Sheeran case. He won, but then another one popped up. Like someone else sued him.
Of course.
Of course, I'm just logically thinking, hey guys, he just won the last case. Why are we going to bring this? So it must have already been in the
Yeah, is it
system
ready in the arsenal?
or something. Like, yeah, there was a whole nother company that sued him for pretty much the same songs for the same reason.
The same song?
Same songs for the same reason. Sued him for the same songs. Right? And so and the judge ended up throwing out the case because here's what he said.
Yeah, because he proved the other one was good.
But this is a whole nother judge, which I love. So it is unassailable. Is that right? Yeah. Unassailable reality that the chord progression and harmonic rhythm in Let's Get It On are so commonplace in isolation and in combination that to protect their combination would give Let's Get It On an impermissible monopoly
Dang.
over a basic music building block. Stanton said, and handing
The
down
judge
his
said it's
decision.
so commonplace.
And so in other words, there are building blocks, there are chord progressions that are so commonplace that they cannot be
Copywritten.
they can't be copyrighted.
I think the
Which
judge got it right.
Right. So that is going to actually help a lot of people to stop getting sued.
Yep.
Right? Because I mean, think about it: 1, 5, 6 minor 4. Like how many? So if you're in the key of C, that's C, G, A minor, F.
Everyone plays the same thing.
Everyone. It'd be thousands and thousands of lawsuits.
Hundreds of thousands.
Right. You stole my song. No, I didn't.
When you think about like in the church community, you have a song that's like in G.
Yeah.
And you have someone that maybe a guy wrote it and the girl's like, I need her to sing it higher, so you got to take it up.
Yeah.
And it could have that same progression too. So then you come in more issues on songs that weren't in the exact same key, but now they're being played in the right key. So
For sure.
I think the judge got it right.
Yeah, I think he got it right, and I'm so glad he made that statement because now that statement can be used in other
It's building blocks.
Exactly.
It's the alphabet.
Exactly.
Can't copyright the alphabet because you made some words that are similar to the other people's
Exactly.
words.
Sorry, you can't copyright the alphabet, y'all.
Yeah. You could try. Waste some money in litigation and all that crap. But
Exactly.
hey, That's good news.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Heck yeah.
It's progress.
Come on.
Ever-changing, crazy, fast-moving world of crazy songs just going out there and people trying to get money.
I know, man.
Now, if it was a sampled piece of the music,
that's different. Completely different.
Yeah. And if that's easy to prove, so it's like, should be quick. Boom.
Right.
Yep, you stole it. Boom, boom. Pay him.
Yep. In fact, a lot of those have digital ones now, have watermarks. So.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they've got a digital watermark. So no matter where it is in the internet, it can be tracked.
What's that called? Isn't there a technical term for that?
I think digital
tracing
watermark.
or something?
Yeah. It's almost like a digital fingerprint that they can put on every digital
How does that work with Splice, though?
Splice
like
is
no one could
free.
copyright those.
Yeah, those are royalty free.
Unless it's in the actual song.
Correct. Yeah, you can't. The individual hits you can't, and the samples you can't. Because those are copyright free. But once you put it in your composition, that's when it's copyrighted.
But you probably have to add and manipulate some stuff to the extent that it's more original.
Yeah, and it's royalty free from the company, so you don't even have to say where it came from.
Because couldn't someone, if they wanted to scam and fraud the whole system, get Splice, download all the samples, put them in songs that are just looping the sample, and then copyright that and be like, well, they get flagged. They could flag everyone else's stuff that use those same samples.
Potentially,
because that's probably happening to some extent.
Maybe so.
But you could, like, on YouTube, you could go in there and you could give them pushback. I think debate it or something like that.
Yeah,
saying improve your ownership.
That's an interesting case study.
Well, you go on the nerd way of it. When all this was pretty new, like a few years ago.
Yeah,
I would live stream some clients, podcast, and I would just have silence at the beginning.
Okay,
and a countdown.
Yeah,
and I'd get copyright strike from Disney.
Oh yeah.
For silence.
Yeah, we talked about that because at a church used one of my beats, and like I gave them permission and everything, but they got paused on by Facebook.
Yeah, so
I'm like, that's an original composition.
It's the digital Wild West, I guess.
Wild West.
But yeah, that's industry news. Good job, Ed.
Yes, Ed.
Good job, Judge, and all the whole team.
Great
job. Pioneers of this whole industry right now.
That's right, exactly.
So we have Gear Spotlight.
Ooh.
This is a speaker that Ray is not too familiar with, but I own. So I own the NS10s, and then this one, which is a JBL 305P.
Ah, I got it.
It's the black one. You've probably seen them.
You know what, dude? I couldn't, when we were talking about this, I don't even think I've heard JBL studio monitors. Now, I've heard the others.
Let me put you on some.
Gang. There you go.
Honestly, you know how it is with speakers? I'm just gonna say this. I could be torched for this afterwards, but these speakers are subjective.
They are
100%.
Yep.
So for someone to say these speakers sound bad, let's talk about the NS10.
You just have to get used to them.
You get used to them. If you can mix a hit on them, it could be your cell phone. Who cares?
Which lots of people have made lots of hits on NS10s. Let's be honest about
for
that.
real.
Yeah.
Like beyond a shadow of a doubt. And subjectively, they do not sound good. They don't put out the full spectrum, which sounds good. So
that's right.
But yeah, so the JBL 305 Ps, I have the Mark 1s. They have Mark 2 now, maybe even Mark 3. I don't know. But they're pretty solid. They're like pretty flat. You know, that's kind of like a cliche term, but they are.
Yeah.
And you can actually see online, there's like some shootouts where they actually do a spectrograph so you can see what they look like.
Yeah.
It's pretty flat.
They're flat.
But it has all the top end, all the bottom end.
Because you get in trouble when you use speakers that are hyped or enhanced.
Scooped.
Right. Now, that's why a lot of more expensive ones, they'll have controls in the back where you can control that, depending on how your ears are. But yeah, the flatter, in my opinion, the better, so you can hear what's going on.
These ones are flat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me pull up the price here. But the JBL 305P is a solid, budget-friendly is what I like to say. I won't say cheap because they are solid equipment.
Yeah, budget-friendly.
Budget-friendly. Let's see. Sweetwater has them on sale right now for $258 for the pair.
That's a good deal.
They're powered. So all you do is plug in your interface main out into them.
Yeah.
You're good to go. They have some switches on the back for high pass, low pass.
Oh, that's good.
DB, I think it's a volume control.
So you can tune them.
Yep.
Frequency tune.
You can get them dialed in.
Nice.
If you're running a sub, maybe you want to scoop out the low end.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably seen them though. Let's see. Little black.
Okay, got it.
Pretty plain.
Yeah.
But yeah, these for me.
Those are nice.
I dig them. The back has XLR in.
And you have these at your studio?
I have these and the NS10s.
Got it.
So these are my and it's actually pretty cool. You can play them both at the same time with the sub.
And so you kind of A/B, right?
Yeah, you can A/B them.
That's what you're supposed to do.
If you just want to have like a big explosive sound, put all of them on. It's pretty cool. It's weird. Like I don't know. I guess you have the hype mids of the NS10s and you have like the low and the highs of these.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, I could mix on it because it has a lot of clarity.
Nice.
So that's another cliche term, I guess. But yeah, these are cool. I recommend them. Used market's even cheaper.
Yeah.
I saw on Facebook today, $100 for the pair.
Nice.
That's dang good. If you're starting off, that's good.
Yeah.
I would recommend them. Go check them out. If you get used to them, you could mix on them.
Absolutely, you can. For sure.
Yeah, go check them out. I like them. I endorse them. Recommend them.
There you go.
Tell every music store that Rome sent you if you go to pick some
Yes.
Tell Amazon.
Come on, Amazon.
So in the main talk, we're going to talk about value exchange, which is huge. Because, something that we may not see as valuable can be super valuable to someone else. And they could either hook you up with some other value or money or something, whatever that looks like.
Garage sales.
Yeah, like you talk about Gary Vee. You've seen Gary Vee. He goes out there.
Yeah.
You know what sucks, though, is like, maybe this doesn't suck, but I'm very similar to that. Like,
what you, like as a kid?
Yeah, like I've hustled since I was so young, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like finding a deal, flipping stuff.
Yeah.
Like even now, my wife and I are making good money. Even a few years, we made like really good money, and I was like, man, I still want to go and hustle. I still want to go to a pawn shop, find something that I know about, and flip it, and be like, wow, I just made $20 on it. And it's like,
you know what? Me and my son went to a pawn shop here in Austin, but the thing is, dude, everyone kind of knows where the pricing is here because it's Austin, right? So the guitars are super nice, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
Because they know kind of what now.
Nashville,
Boise, Idaho,
right, or Dallas,
or Iowa. You can probably get away with seeing that $1,000 guitar for $300.
Right. Yeah, in Dallas, I pretty much paid my school bill on hustling stuff secondhand like that.
Really? No, that's pretty cool.
Yep. And Mila and I went on some hard times before we had kids. We were on food stamps, and we went and figured out how to go to what's it called, like Salvation Army, Goodwill.
Yeah.
We look up on our phone, find stuff just like Gary Vee did, and flip it. And we just did it as side income
from Salvation Army.
Yeah, all those places, what is that called? Secondhand stores, thrift stores.
Yeah.
We go there and we flip stuff, and we made when we weren't even really trying.
So where would you post it, on eBay or something?
eBay, Facebook, Craigslist.
Wow, dude, congratulations, that's big.
Yeah, we made when we weren't even really trying, but at the average, we'd make about $1,200 extra side income. Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's good.
Which is good for us when we were struggling, trying to figure stuff out. Maybe a job didn't work out, and we just all right,
let's go flip some.
Let's go do it. Let's go hustle. So there's always a way to have some value exchange. That's like a low level value exchange.
Yeah.
When you come from the dirt, when you're on the mountain, it feels good.
But value exchange is value exchange, no matter what. So you guys learning that early on. Well, hey, so now I'll just do that with speakers. Now I'll do it with cars. You know what I mean?
With my skills.
Right. Yes.
Here's a prime example of value exchange. I guess an extreme version. So we were at a thrift store here in town, and we're just looking for stuff, hustling with our phone, looking on eBay, whatever. And then my wife comes up to me, and she has these two flounders that are like little plush dolls.
Yeah.
And that stuff's usually whatever. It's rotten, it's cheap, whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought she was like, let's get these for whoever, someone we know. And she's like, she just came and she had this face we can flip these. And I was like, what? And she's like, look at these. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, you want to get those for someone or something? And she was like, no, look how much they sell for. And she pulled them up on eBay, and they were hundreds of dollars. And they were 25 cents.
No.
Yes. So that's a prime example of People on eBay saw, because it was a Disney, it's a flounder.
Okay, yeah.
So they saw these flounder costumes is what they were. It's like little plush things that little kids put on.
Yeah. Like onesies?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And she was like, look how much it's worth. So we picked them up for 25, 50 cents.
That's crazy.
Flipped them for a couple $100.
Jeez.
And another even crazier story. This is when we were really hustling.
Yeah.
Which it was like, I enjoyed doing it. So
yeah,
it felt fun, but it was also like we're grinding, like trying to make ends meet, whatever.
Right.
But we went to a Goodwill that was like, it's called like a weigh and pay or something like that, where they don't organize. It's not a nice store. They just kind of throw it out in these bins.
Yeah, and just like it's by weight.
By weight, like by the items.
Yeah.
Depending, like electronics is this much per pound. Or
right.
Whatever. So we went, first time going, and we're like, oh, this is cool. And we started looking stuff up. And I found like a conference call phone for like nothing, because it was plastic and it was electronic.
Right.
Sold it for like $200-$300.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
But it took a little hustle.
That's all right.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about how you can do that with your skills.
With your skills. So the first one we want to talk about is getting gigs. So this is something that like, this could be the lifeblood of a music producer.
Right.
If you're going full time, and it's like, we don't recommend going just one stream of income of like only doing
multiple,
whatever.
For sure.
Do multiple. So develop your skill, develop your talents, network, blah, blah, blah. But getting gigs could be getting a client project, like what you would do, a full complete hustle of developing a client, or mixing, or blah, 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 mastering, recording, songwriting. But you have to have the skills in order to go and do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So you have to, we'll talk about later too, is about creating a quality product, but you have to develop your skills to the point that that's valuable.
Right.
You want to speak on that?
Yeah. So, just the skill development, like who was it? Warren Buffett said one of the biggest things that you can do to increase your net worth almost immediately is invest in public speaking. So in other words, invest in yourself. And so when you do that and you start gathering other skills, like I'm going to just kind of use me as an example. I up until about 5 years ago, I was like, I'm not going to learn how to mix because it's such a high art form, and I had so much respect for mix engineers that I knew I didn't have, it would take me forever to really get as good as I know I would want to get.
Put a lot of time into it.
But then about 5 years ago, I had to, right? I had to, because I didn't have the money to
hire the mixer,
to hire the mix engineer and all that stuff. So I started learning. So now that's a skill I can probably flip now for $1,000.
Yeah. As only your mix project.
Exactly.
As opposed to like, because before you probably started and you were developing a client, right? Or
exactly.
Producing a full.
Yeah. A full record, like 12, 14 songs. And then you just get in the weeds, man. So if you have the budget, you need to farm that out to a mix engineer so you can keep rolling. But I was dealing with a few projects 5 years ago that I just couldn't do that. So I forced myself to learn how to mix. Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah.
But also,
YouTube University.
I had a natural ear, right?
Yeah,
and also I knew, tracking is mixing. So I did a really good job on the recording part of it. So the mixing part actually came a little easy. Yeah. So, but that's developing. I had to develop myself, and then even again with video editing. You know what I mean? There's some things that were happening with some of the jobs I was taking that I had to do video editing. So you know what? I got in there and learned it. I learned Final Cut Pro. I learned all the cameras, all the lighting. I didn't even know what key lights were, or headlight. Is it headlights or
hair lights? Probably the same thing.
All that kind of thing. I didn't know any of that stuff, but I had to develop it. Now, literally, I got a few months ago got a $4,000 gig from being able to do all that stuff
because you had the skills to pay the bills.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's key.
So developing yourself is huge.
It's very huge.
Yeah.
Like I look back to like predicaments that I've been in and binds where you had to like stretch.
Yeah.
Like I think we're all currently in them to some extent.
Yeah.
Where you have to like stretch and develop new skills.
Yeah.
To me, that's good. I hate it, which I'm sure a lot of people do too when they're like in it getting stretched and you're like, this sucks,
Right. Exactly.
But it pushes you to figure out how to mix.
Exactly.
Figure out how to do video editing. Figure out how to blah, blah, blah. And one thing that is that can't be taken away from you is your skills.
Correct.
You could be the only one to take it away from yourself by not developing it more or brushing up on them.
Exactly.
Like drums, we know we're both drummers.
Yep.
You go in there, play, you're like, oh, okay, you haven't played for a while, and you think like your head is not really connecting with the feel you want to do.
Yeah, that was me 2 weeks ago.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A.
Yep.
Ray is rusty.
Yep. That's what musicians say is rusty.
Yeah.
The same thing with your skills. If you're able to develop your skills, you become an asset to people, valuable. Mm-hmm. You can get your gigs like you're talking about.
Yep.
You can get your mix gig, get your video gig.
Yep.
Get your drum gig, even though you're rusty.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a huge thing right there. But you have to have the skill, which we'll jump in more in a few points. The next one's collaborating, which we harp on this.
Yeah, collaboration is huge.
But it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're doing something like off of a cold collaboration where you don't really know the person, you need to bring value to the table.
Exactly.
To some extent.
Yes.
It's not like, hey, so-and-so, let's say The Weeknd.
Right.
Hey, The Weeknd's producer, let's collab. And you're like, what the heck? Who are you? You know?
Right, exactly.
You could think about it in your own shoes, too. If someone just randomly comes off the street.
Yeah.
Hey, can I have this? And you're like.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to say 1 + 1 is 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you're bringing a few things and the other person's bringing a few things, it should 10x.
Yep.
Not just 1 to 1. It's not worth it. If 1 to 1 is 2, that's really not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can join your skills or your knowledge with some other people, and then together we can go 10x on whatever this is. That's a no-brainer.
Yep. And that's gonna take having to bring some value to the table.
That's right.
And I guess in collaborating, I look at my wife a lot with this sort of thing. Is that she kind of has a team now. She's in real estate. She's crushing it now. But she's she's developed people that are around her who are they're extremely valuable to her key clients.
Yeah.
So say their client needs something with finances. She has a dude that's on it.
Got it.
So they need something remodeled. Boom, she's on it. They need something about whatever. Credit repair.
Right.
Boom, she's got it.
Right.
And that's super valuable. I think that applies the same with like what we're talking about, where you could come with like as what you're talking about, like a traditional producer of like getting all these people together. You had your guys.
That's right. Oh yeah, I still do.
Now if someone's like, Ray, can you produce this product? You're like, yeah, I got the exact people.
I got the people on there. What's going to cost, all that, and how much time it's going to take.
So I think that's another thing of like developing value. That's not necessarily a skill. I guess it is a skill. You networked. And you got the people. Yeah. But you're also bringing that sort of value to the table of like, who does Ray know? Exactly. What connections does Ray have that he could bring to the table that makes Ray more valuable?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's huge. I think that goes great with collaborating because my wife, I'll just keep harping on her, is like she's collaborating with these people.
Yeah.
They trust each other to know like you're going to link me with my ideal my ideal client.
Yeah, because it like you were saying, it flows the other way too. So like hey, I trust Mila to get me the right people. Because she's done all the vetting. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's and so Mila becomes more valuable because she vets her team members. Yep. They're all amazing. They're all excellent at what they do. Yep. So they're going to do a good job for me. She's going to do a good job for me.
Right. The same thing applies to like music producers or any spectrum of like producing stuff. Is like if Ray came to me and said, hey, I have this project I need you to play guitar on. Right. I'm not going to be like, oh, they're going to be broke. They're going to be a little joke or whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is going to be trash. I'm not going to put my name on it. I'm going to know. Ray came to me. I know Ray. Right. Ray does quality. He's not going to be fiddling around with some Joe Schmo unless you tell me ahead of time. Like,
because with musicians, they don't want to just get a paycheck. Right. They want to make great music.
Yes.
Right.
It's art.
So if they know, hey, if I go play for Rome, then not only is the quality going to be good, but I'm going to work on something that's fun and I enjoy to play.
Yep. That's huge. That's,
you know what I mean?
Exhibit A for collaborating.
Yeah. Whenever I was working with Israel Houghton, and I would bring in friends and players that he didn't necessarily know, but they didn't really know Israel. But every time they walked in anytime we did an Israel track. They go, man, this was so much fun to play. Like you can see them light up just because Israel's music is fun for a player to play. So
that's valuable to them. We're going on all sorts of different aspects.
Valuable to them and valuable to Israel. Valuable to
the end user that's listening.
All of that
all
stuff.
Around.
Yeah.
The churches that are going to use this music down the road.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. So
yeah, that's huge. Collaborating. And then our last one we have here is creating a quality product. So that, I think it's all kind of tied together.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you are a newbie to mixing, it's going to be hard for you to charge a high rate, high value product.
That's right.
To a client because whatever, you could probably trick people into getting some gigs like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Which I recommend with like people that are starting. You don't have to, let me make sure I say this right. You don't have to shoot for the moon with your pricing, and you don't even have to shoot for an average. If you're just straightforward with people, like, hey, I'm pretty new to this. I'm not going to charge you a ton because I'm new to it.
Yeah.
Is that okay? That way they know up front.
Right.
As opposed to like, you hear from everywhere, charge what you're worth. Like me personally, I'm worth a ton.
Right.
My mixing skills not there. I should not be charging you a ton for it.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like that's huge as far as your communication with the people too, right?
Right.
Like let them know I'm not that great at this.
And I think how you gauge that is how close can you sound to like a professional record?
Yeah, like a banger.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're close, then you can charge probably a little more. But if you go, man, the drums aren't there, the vocals are thin and small, it's not working, I need to kind of develop myself more. But that's how I would gauge, like, it's got to sound like a record.
And you got to have some credibility too.
Yep.
Like if you're brand new to whatever mastering and you don't have any testimonials and you're trying to go after someone that is trying to pay you a good price because you just pitched them a good price, then it's like, is it really going to be worth it to them? Or are you doing both y'all a disservice?
Right, exactly.
So having some credibility and some people that said, oh yeah, I used Ray for mastering. He killed it.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to be good. He's going to do a good job for you. That way, you know, people are saying the same thing.
Right.
You're putting something out that's quality.
Exactly.
But a big thing, which we both agree with strongly, is you have to put in the reps. You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
And I would not recommend putting those reps and work on with clients.
That's right.
Right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, like I was telling you, like, again, 5 years ago when I was as I was in the process of learning to mix and, you know, video and all that stuff, one thing I had to, and I think we've talked about this, I had to relearn how to produce, right? So that took hours going through, you know, splice samples, going through all that stuff. Like it just takes hours. But if you know your end target, that's why I always really encourage people to get reference tracks. Is okay, it needs to sound like this over here, so let me go find a kick drum that sounds like this kick drum.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but putting in those hours, putting in those reps,
huge,
are super important.
Yeah. That's the main talk. We have a story.
Yes.
That's going to be very aligned with value exchange.
Value exchange.
So I have learned the number system.
Yes.
And I operate in the number system every weekend pretty much.
4, if not 3, 2, 1.
Right. Yeah. And before, you know, the weekends come, I'll be using them and practicing them.
When you get really fast, instead of saying 1, 5, 6 minor 4, you go
12:35.
15:64.
Right. But anyways, I was at church the other day, and there was someone that was talking to me about the bass because I was playing bass on Sunday. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom. All right, we'll stop there for church and play "Smoke on the Water."
And you're just rocking.
That's the line check line. I'll play the line check line of "Smoke on the Water." See if anyone gets it. Anyways, there was a dude there, and he was operating camera, and he's just talking. He's a younger guy.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh yeah, how do you buy?" He was just chopping it up. I was like, "Do you know the number system?" He was like, "No." I was like, "I'll teach you it right now."
Yeah.
So we're in the back in the green room, and I grabbed the bass from by the stage.
Yeah.
And I said, "You know the G major scale?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, you know the number system, bro. Let me show you." And I was like, boom, 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 boom. I showed him the number system super quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, now you could audition, and you could take my spot. And he was like, wow, I can't believe it. And he was like playing, and then I would like test him. I'd be like, all right, go to your 6. I said, we're in the key of A right now.
Ugh.
I said, here's your root note. A. Well, you're thinking from a piano player.
Yeah,
guitar and bass, it's different.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let me see your 3. He was like,
an A?
3, yeah.
C sharp.
I was like, I didn't ask him for the note name. I just asked him for the number and play it.
Okay.
I was like, let me see your 4. Boom. Let me see your 2.
Did you change keys on them?
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to G.
And he got it.
That's cool.
So it was
it's like a revelation.
So here's a big thing. If you're able to develop your skill to enough that you could teach it.
Yeah.
You could charge to teach it.
That's good.
Or you could be valuable to your local church.
That's right.
And train up people.
Or a local club, like with DJ. I mean, all that stuff. You're right.
You develop the skill that you could teach it.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what we're doing.
I think I could teach almost different things.
Drum lessons?
Drums. I think I could teach a little bit of keyboard.
You could.
Yeah.
Number system.
I could teach mixing overall.
Yep.
Gain staging was my big revelation.
We do that.
Right.
But yeah, you could teach it.
I teach on publisher.
I used to do drum lessons a lot. And I would this little kid came in, he would come in regularly. I teach him the metronome.
Yeah.
In the song, this is some game if you're teaching drums. If you want to get someone on a song that's like a cool song and fun, but it's also easy.
Yeah.
AC/DC Back in Black.
Back in. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's a
couple rolls in there.
Yeah. Then also Billie Jean, Michael Jackson.
Yep. Same thing. Yeah, but if you could develop your skills and you could teach, another stream of income there.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Before we jump off, make sure you go check out Industry Standard Productions, forwardproducer.com/ISP. 7 ways to level up your production game. Go check it out.
Woo.
And it would mean a lot if you all could like, share, comment, rate, subscribe.
Please.
Do all that good stuff. It would mean a lot.
Our subs are going up.
Yeah, we need subs to go up. We need some likes to go up.
All right.
Because if this is valuable information to you all, it's going to be valuable to other people. So it would mean a lot if you could share it.
Absolutely.
And the more you all do that, like, share, comment, rate, subscribe, it's going to help put it out there to more people to hear it.
Yay.
We'd appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate. I just turned country all of a sudden.
Appreciate y'all.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see you next time.
All right, peace.
Peace out.